Hi, welcome everyone. My name is Panita Jani Thacker. I'm one of the MBSR instructors at Mindful Leader. Just wait maybe a minute or so. Hi, welcome. So first of all, thank you so much for being here. I'm a part of the group. I truly appreciate your presence. So before we dive into who we are and who we feel that we are authentic, I want to settle and ground ourselves. So let's begin with a practice. I'm going to quickly close the doors. Okay. Oh. Okay, so finding an alert yet wakeful position. So you may have to scooch a little bit more onto the seat to put your feet flat on the surface. Finding that erect spine but not stiff. No. And you're more than welcome to lower the gaze or close the eyes, whichever feels most comfortable at this time. Even taking a moment to adjust and alter, rolling the shoulders back to open the chest. Let's begin by following the natural breath, the natural cycle of your breath as you breathe in and breathe out. No need to alter or change the breath at this time. The natural pace and rhythm as you inhale and exhale. A gentle reminder that the mind may wander many, many times. It's the simple act of guiding it back over and over again. If you find that the breath is not an anchor at this time, you can use the seat beneath you, the sensation of it, to ground and settle you, or sounds as they arise around. So the silence on my end will allow you to settle in, go that little bit deeper into the practice. Returning to the anchor at any time. With the next breath, seeing if you can lengthen the exhale to a count of 4. And then a pause of 4. An inhale of 4. And then another pause of 4. So at this time, we're regulating and manipulating our breath to find that centered, calm. It's not to say that the mind may not be busy, but the body can soften and ease into each breath you take. Noticing the quality of each breath you take. Finding that inner stillness and space. Continuing purposefully to come back to the anchor of the breath. No matter how many times the awareness has shifted and wandered. And then letting go of regulating the breath as you come back to your natural rhythm. Following the cycle of breath at the tip of the nose. The air trickling down the back of the throat. The chest expanding. The abdomen inflates. A slight pause. As the abdomen deflates, the chest constricts, and the air is released through the nose or mouth. Another pause as the cycle continues over and over again. And then coming to a close of this practice as you transition out in whatever way serves you. A gentle stretch, a twist, a wriggling of the fingers and toes. And gently fluttering the eyes open whenever you're ready. Hi. Okay, so this is where we get to the nitty-gritty of what is authentic self. So as I was researching and as I was going through all my notes and everything that there is on Google, there are so many schools of thought on what it means to be authentic, what it means to be self, what it means to be our true selves, our true authentic selves. So I just wanted to read a couple of examples of what I... Oh, that feels a bit too loud. Yeah, hold it a little bit lower. So the philosophers say the exemplary human, the identity. Oh, is that better? Okay. Let me start again. The philosophers, the exemplary human, being his or her identity through self-realization, and to do so without relying on anything transcending that life, such as God or soul. Then the psychologists, which is a whole different can of worms, the concept of being true to one's own nature, values, and identities. And then we have the spiritual leaders who believe that there is no such thing as self, that we are impermanent, that we're ever evolving and ever changing. So is there such thing as true self? So with these three examples, I wanted you to take a moment to discuss in your groups, and you're more than welcome to take notes or journal if you would like. But take a moment to hold space for, when have you felt most like your authentic self? Where were you? What were you doing? And who were you with? So take a few moments to reflect on that and maybe discuss in the small groups that you have. So when have you felt most like your authentic self? What were you doing? And who were you with?
Like chimney, like family kings type to week to take the shit and man this is this the hour and not too kid on the end. But then I started hush me and down because then no, they're first year guys have been paying that to get away has Mike for the English for mass down each in, but we still look at the zone. Yeah, you're I but it's so you work there. Hey, children, roles. I have a so kitchen, and that's has a single sitter to see views in face you are bordered it's on what side. They're all now the other side. Well, that's I think it's hey, well, we're all as shilling. Do it like bullshit at a funny and all the fuck and make me think about I think I would eat and within your rank on people this one but be worried anything about that one about I work this it was says she saw but having oh for girding thing I'm with when I'm my eyes and they're not good. My new house there. I'm outside and then you ran away. You know, pre the content actually like it's another decoding area trees. If and all you know, they just well I mean seeing that was either again but keepers gonna get it. But that's like no, the cheap. I guess no, I know late and I haven't something about me sure. But we should build up with the stories then they got the this little like you should becoming my authentic self what needs to invite I think to the dictionary. I need to I need to like the older of the counting that I speak about the let or I should say the less I allow to and not outside pulling in or thoughts or whatever else to intact on the hour. Every the door I did or shadowing right then the more consistent I do it. I think not to say I think I don't think I could ever achieve true authenticity. I will ever being evidence working that on it like even through a sunrise part. And we're always dangerous with this since about TV and I associated sure he's lost time. Way one than that. It was total when I was like a gent. And sometimes I remember we go this fun have and super sure energy.
So another prompt to add on top of that. In what situations do you feel you wear a mask or hide certain aspects of your personality to others and to yourself?
So right now, really, yeah. And so I like money. It's for counties. So it's 2 hour death that. It's I start divorcing or a few. The current but after yeah, authentic self realize like it and yes, we usually get a small house and think like I got these like I do it. So to me, suffers a leading in my bank and we had talked to when I sit down, creating yeah the bird. You know, it hit flying. Oh, she can never and add something around me that allows us to be hung there and so we sit again. A top of hungry engine. That's why I did sit in that. It's like I was going to do it way. Two of them right now to dress here. Yeah. And this degree, I want to see that the let's benefits so and but I was just then going nice by name it. So fresh the Lord more anxious and long push was there to you. So you there was a scenario like this this now more than that. Like, well, you go, man, I'm like, so I don't know, something for you. You know, and that's it. So I just like that. With you, I think, well, 2 years and out and out eating your money, well, that I just go covers right down, or is that is so I thought, and I'll never land. It's unfortunate. And go as some words on your words, and also we just methods and back to wherever you get some and be something such on it. Garnishing the other company, and then so what is the deal? So it's been I staring, you know, like today I'm here and 6 years last week. I thought, you know, read that the work correctly. I got what you done. That is
I heard that and I was like, that's definitely me too.
and then it's some of that freaking figured out and it was like that. Yeah, I know it has me older. We don't have anybody still. Oh, no, now that the higher because I sat. About you, Bruce Lee, it's like, look, Shabby. Champion, it's just a little. I'm still, I'm an easy sorry yet. Well, I was so good. I wasn't I got in the meditation. I was like, that's y'all, I'm out of it. Yeah, everywhere.
So then this is an interesting third prompt. Do you believe there is a constant, unchanging self, or is self more fluid and ever-changing? Yeah. I should have started with that one. Is it self more fluid and ever-changing?
And then they're not tired of it. You get like, big sign has fit in. That's this. I'll say this, I'm under culture immediately before I'm today. But look right with the outfits. I think of my oldest with this more sorts and without into packing it. If one would be able to solve, one can I say because the quality thing in sync to this day is go if they're saying that family just no. So I listen to real like that's your own thing. Yeah, but I'm recognized. You're able that's from the night, hey, I think she was right after and I can't so I'm making the hunt then and the top hit them what to with them there. And that you know the P I know they got that that's and they're no it's funny and I believe that is not that you then get out the shines never called one word. Probably do really to that. Consciously she's full so she you crutch that. No, she is very outspoken. I see that when back on the baby's then he's saying like half hard like finger even 6 and but you would all and you have the things here when they cut in beds and bed the which ocean and I don't think I would I for my mind it's okay, I would say I don't think I had that habit like yeah, freeing and the ethic theory and the adapting it's cardboard or for vacuum alone and sexually less up together and the old thing and she and that didn't get out so I mean it's them all you tag and answer please stood up that so I didn't wait my story even trick license I had any like the end event but you to agree with I mean it's man look at you like I know for me as a why you eat I come out and just a solid react so the back to reframe I find an attachment like each the normal one anyone like you like I'm to an hour and get put over or whatever I mean like let it go but yeah physical thing yeah I do bad and tap back I might have to need that others doing and had trouble quickness was just something not I'm not thinking that you need that like the side look this like anything you can make that come on metal sort of but I didn't think out that you know and now we're about publication class and you're else and they're ready to make a suit as on the all and figure out who knows what so then told that now then that's what he's down yeah how about any but this deep up over him but so those you thought it's on how did you know that on with bigger one can handle it's the 10 friend that's today one thing to big guys but in the yeah it's fun to pass Yeah, that was six. And at the way that we see that deals all the time, actually, saving boy, he's all in his, real lady, the character, or shooting all that, or all I think they share. You know, like the plate. So people who's familiar, I just speak, and where did he so lots in? He's just in that hole when he played as a role. This is for that.
Are we ever changing or are we constant?
This did. Did I make it? It's the second.
So I think my job here is done.
Like,
Okay. Just taking a moment to wrap up your train of thought. Oh, maybe one more minute so that everybody has a chance to go, please. Sorry.
I guess in Washington, help to put it to work on wherever sure. You want? Yeah. You know, land here, subject for a country with that. I don't know that meant, and so not. I think always and but get one word prisoner. When still late decisions, or I have more papers to obey, but make it very high and that are and behind it. It put one nuts. The pages doing the thing like stepping in life and it is right like this environment human. Instead of Jewish or sure I get these areas where I don't get able to buy it. It's too like the handles kind of on and go like area. But we were as communities, you know. But we were so but say I think I mean city of chat about made sure hard that this minute to that can you have like yeah, do that some skill. I really say there's like mean true something all we're all in on the water with regarding food. And now they're telling we might as if I'm sure for the rhythm for special house, so that was just the kind of cheap low towards we're reaching the courts at Jerry and I'm not there, but it's a lot. That's one thing, yeah. So I didn't even react there with my ties at and being like, well, you're seeing the they have another lady who's better on those. But you're scared, correct? The of Lemaine, a great reminder of the Senate to that's and political get fairly not. First, you did.
Okay. I hope that... Do you want to finish up? No? Okay. There will be time after to... I know. I feel as if 30 minutes was not enough for this session. I think we could have spent the whole afternoon discussing this. So as I was peeking in and I heard a few comments, it seems to be that we're very chameleon-like. We show up for different situations with different people presenting our different personalities. It's how do we show up in a corporate setting with colleagues we work with friends? How do we show up with family? I heard a couple of comments about when we have children, we present a certain way. I know for myself, I do. I tend not to swear as much. I tend to be a lot more guarded. Yeah. Well, so my 14-year-old, I do a little bit, and then my 10-year-old, I'm like, no, honey, that's not a word we use in the house. So I have to be very aware. That's exactly what I get. And then I feel as if I hold back sometimes because I don't want to bring that personality or that piece of my personality out. I'm very fun. I'm very outgoing. I'm very loud, on the verge of obnoxious. But that's why my husband loves me, is because he's the complete opposite. And we complement each other because we bring certain aspects of our personality to relationships. So we show each other, and not just in a relationship, but in friendships, I show what I want to show. Sometimes I hold back because I want that other person to feel comfortable in sharing their selves. So when does it become me sharing me or me sharing some version of me? Yes, please. Yes.
Well, I question that. That last part where you said, you feel bullies that because you want to allow your friend to share themselves. Is that really holding back, or is that you still become passion or MVP or music, some other quality rather as a?
That's a great question.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
like being.
I'm actually going to pass the mic around if that's
I was
okay.
just going to comment. I think if it's a choice,
that you're choosing to hold back, as opposed to you're holding back because you think you need to because their voices, like it's reactionary, I think then, yeah, that's a good thing. It's an act of something, not just a state of being to please others. So there's a difference.
Yes. But I think there is a piece of compassion that comes in that moment. It's that choice that I make that I want to hold back, because I can be very prescriptive. I can be also very much into, we should do this, we should do this. And then I have to check myself to say, is that what they really need? Or do they need that moment to be heard and really listened to so they can share what they're experiencing? Yes. I think so, but I'm not always sure. Because it could be me just holding back. And that's a great comment, because I also don't have the answers. And in those moments, I really love that, of not knowing whether I'm really showing up or stepping back. Yes, please.
Yeah. So I jokingly tell people, because I'm a talker, and I joke that if I had not been practicing mindfulness, just imagine how much I'd be talking. Because I can monopolize a conversation, and I tell people, any moment that I am not talking, it's a conscious effort to pull back. Now, is that not being me, or is that being me? I don't know.
I think it's a duality. I definitely believe that there is that duality that we face, whether we really want to and we hold back, or whether we're not holding back and it's just natural that we take that step back.
I probably don't need a mic.
No, that's okay.
Because I'm loud. I think it's about what I heard over here about choice, because I think like willing choice versus I'm choosing not to say what I think I need to say because I feel unsafe, or because it's not culturally acceptable, or like in organizations where maybe we're holding back from something that really is important to our team, to our customers, to whatever. If we can't say those things, that's not about being our authentic self, because our authentic self has to be able to speak its truth. Choosing to give space to other people, choosing to be compassionate, to be balanced in friendship, those things are about living into our values. So for me, I think it's if you're able to live into your values, I always say to my young adult children, and more recently to my newer managers, is you have to look in the mirror every day and say, did I do the best that I could? Or am I going to, if something happens and goes sideways, am I going to say I shoulda? For me, that's where the difference is.
Well, we're at it here.
Maybe that's a way to look at it.
Our compassionate fear, maybe it's funny.
Oh, our connection versus disconnection. Yeah.
And I think that's where fear comes in too, because oftentimes if we speak authentically, we fear that it's going to create some sort of a disconnection or rejection.
Well, if you think about like people who, so one of the things that I often do is say the unpopular thing in my organization. But I'm known for that now, so I guess it's okay.
Yeah.
Someone's going to be the contrarian to the right choice. But I'm, my husband, when I moved out of a unionized faculty position into administration, he said, "Oh, this is you're going to get fired." Yeah. And I like that. And he's like, "Oh, you will go to something." And I don't. I do say what I need to. Yeah, do so respectfully with evidence behind it. And I think there, like, if I do lose my job because I told my truth about something that is for our organization, our students, our fiscal responsibility, the people who report to me, then I lose my job that I'm not worried about. And I think that's the thing, right? Like, needs a pot, they're coming on. Well, that way, you're right.
Yes. Yes.
There. Oh, and yeah. Thank you.
It's wonderful to be your authentic self, but you can't be your authentic self all the time, especially if you're alpha and you're used to making the decisions, coming up with the conclusions and all like that. That the challenge is to put yourself in the other person's position. Okay, what do they need from me right now? And 9 times out of 10, it's for me to be quiet, shut up, and listen, which, at least with the kind of males that I hang out with, it's a really difficult thing. That, it's usually way into life that you figure out that, whoa, I'm supposed to listen. But once you get that, you realize that that's just a part of who I am that I hadn't exercised, that I need to exercise more. Because then it's about communicating, even if you're not saying anything at the time.
So then it goes back to the question, are we ever evolving or do we stay constant? And but I was that's what I was going to say. I think it's a little bit of both. For me personally, my core is still very similar to when I was growing up. The intrinsic values and beliefs and all that I've been through are still very much what it was from when I was younger. But I think the exterior ever evolves and changes. So the layers get put on, the masks get put on, and then one by one, we figure out what's really important and which is more prevalent than the other. Please.
I was just thinking in terms of our authentic selves. They're complex. And so I think like with my volleyball team or my hockey team, I have one part of my authentic self. With my family, I have another part of my authentic self. With my work, I have another part of my authentic self. So I think we may not bring our whole piece to each of those, but I don't know, this is cheesy, but think of a diamond with different facets, right? So the facet that you're sharing in that moment is that it's part of your authentic self. I don't know if that makes sense.
Absolutely. I think diamonds is a great connection.
I think that, we bring our authentic self to those roles that we play. We spend a lot of time talking about that because when you're in a role, you're filling some sort of an obligation, whether it's self-imposed or societally imposed. So, we bring that authentic self, but, until we're able to step outside of that role to just actually be in a situation, our authentic self is still that within a role. I had an experience. I was doing the MBSR program, and I'm a therapist by trade, a teacher now. But Piero, the leader, was sharing a story about his grandma, and it was like her on her deathbed and like reflecting, and I literally I've never been in a situation where I felt empathy to that degree and had no response. Like it was just feeling it without having to like be there for someone or communicate with someone. That was like me outside of a complete role, just an authentic being touched by another story. And that was an experience that I've never had as an adult. So like, I think we have this authentic piece of us that we bring into these different roles, whether it's professional or personal or just like the diamond.
I want to bring up the experience of writing your bio. Like if you're like making your own website and you're like, here's the work that I do, and it's just so weird because it's like we say like, your first line, like what do you say there? Maybe I say, oh, I teach at such a school, or I'm a consultant or whatever, and that's like your biggest identity. Or you say like, I got these degrees from here, or these are the places that I've worked. And there's like a standard way in which we present ourselves to say like, we have take me seriously, or these are my credentials. And then I recently had a friend who joined my consulting team, and her bio is like, I am a shaman high priestess. Like, what? Like, with what credentials are you saying that? But it's like, yeah, if that's what you think you are, that's who you are. Like, I can think of some other things that I am too, besides what I do is for work. And then like you consider like, I don't know if any of you have done this, but like you create an online dating profile. And then what do you say there? Right? Like, yeah, it's like a totally different thing. Yeah.
So
I want to do more.
I was just gonna say, can we switch that?
She teaches ecstatic dance.
Okay, so we're gonna do that next. So just before we wrap up, I just want to mention a couple of benefits. Most of you know these, but when we practice being authentic and showing up, there's less stress in our lives. We don't have to be somebody different. We don't have to show up as our best friend. We don't have to show up as our neighbor. We show up as exactly who we are. And it could be a facet of ourselves. It could be a dimension that, we lean into and still show up authentically. It definitely helped me. I will say, because I say that I'm an extrovert, but I'm actually an introvert. I realized in those months and the year that we were home, it changed my personality and it really brought out who I was rather than me having to disguise and be the main person at the party. Definitely. I do believe that. Confidence and self-worth. You have more confidence when you show up. You're like, yes, I know who I am. I'm comfortable in my skin. And I heard a couple of people mention this. It comes with age and feeling that I'm okay in showing up like this. There may still be judgment, but then we've got rid of that inner voice saying, are you good enough? Are you okay? Yes, this is who I am. Okay. All right. So thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Thank you.